Okay, now we've got a clean shot of the escalator without the mechanism in place. If you've got a whole bunch of nickels or coins that are just lined up right next to each other and are physically touching each other, what you can sometimes do is take a screwdriver and manually move them around. If you want to cycle the the escalator manually, let me go ahead and put a nickel in here. You grab a hold of this lever here and move it to the left. When you do that, a coin should drop out of the bottom of it. One just did. Now, it's now locked into place all the way to the left. To get it to recycle back to the right, there's two levers you got to push. This first one here, right? Yeah. This first one here, and then the one just to the left of that. So if the escalator is operating properly, you should be able to cycle a dozen coins very easily. If you need to remove the escalator, if it's just so gummed up that you need to take it completely apart, there's only 3 screws that hold it into place. There's a screw here, there's a screw here, and a screw over there. You remove those 3 screws, the whole thing will come out, and then you got full access to the escalator, and you can take small screwdrivers or whatever and work them and get the coins out and get it all cleaned up. Like I said before, the vast majority of the jams, when a machine jams up, is in the escalator. Now, if it's in the mech, I'll show you a few areas to look at. Okay, here's a look at the mechanism. The first thing you want to do is just kind of give it a look over and see if there's any loose coins that may have fallen inside the mechanism. Look down here in the clock area where this fan is. Look in there, especially if there's some coins down there. They will cause binding and cause the mechanism not to operate properly. You can look in this area. You can look in here. So if there's any coins, obviously get them out of there. You know, use your fingers, use needle nose pliers, whatever. The next thing I want to point out is this dog right here. It's probably hard to see. This dog, but it's basically a what it does is when the mechanism is cycling, it prevents the mechanism from going back until you've cycled it entirely. But if there's a jam, then it can cause a bind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle the mechanism manually. And the way to do that is you'll need to have a pretty good sized screwdriver like this. And what you want to do is you want to put the screwdriver on top of this roller. And then the screwdriver will then go against this this pin here. And if you try to cycle it, it won't let you because it detects that there's no coin in there in the escalator. So what you need to do is while you're cycling it, you need to hold this bar back. That'll allow the mechanism to think that there's a coin in place. I'm going to try and do it without the screwdriver because I'm doing it kind of backwards here for the camera. So I've put it down about a third of the way, and this dog is preventing the lever from going back. Now if there were a jam somewhere, you would not be able to cycle it further, and so what you would need to do is find where the jam is. And that just requires some detective work to look around. If you want to cycle the mechanism back, what you want to do is you want to hold this down with a screwdriver or with your fingers, and then you want to reach in and release this dog. Now you got to be careful because this thing's got some pretty heavy duty springs. It can really bite you. But if you push that down a little bit to release the pressure off the dog, and then take a screwdriver, or if you're feeling brave, your finger, and then you can push it back. Now you can recycle it back to normal. I would recommend using a screwdriver, not your finger, until you know exactly how to do it. Otherwise, you're going to pinch yourself, and it can be pretty painful. So I'm going to go ahead and cycle the mechanism manually with a screwdriver. Again, I'm doing it backwards. Now, if you want to cycle the mech and line up reels manually, what you can do is take another smaller screwdriver and place it right here where this, what looks like a fan that spins around. It's actually a governor. So you can put that in there to keep that from spinning. And then we're going to cycle the mechanism again. They actually make a tool for this, but you probably won't have that tool, so I'll just use a screwdriver. Now what you can do is you can manually line up the symbols to any combination you want, if you feel so desired. Like, oh, we almost had 3 bars accidentally. But let's line up 2 cherries. And we can pull the screwdriver out. Then you can stop it with your finger if you want. Oh, and actually, I was one position off. The lineup is up there, not down there. But anyway, that's how you can cycle the mech. Now, that's pretty much all you have to do to unjam a Mills mechanism. I'll go ahead and show you how to put it back together. Putting it back together is pretty straightforward. It's pretty much the exact opposite of what we did before. The trick is to make sure that these 2 levers are in the vertical position. To pick the mechanism up, grab hold here and here, lift it up, and then it should just slide right into place. You may have to help the guide the alignment right there a little bit. It'll click into place. Put the levers in, and then if it's working, you can put a nickel, if I can find one, and you should be able to cycle it by hand. Then you put the bonnet on it, and it's just the exact opposite. You put it in at an angle, so this pin will hit this hole. Push down the locking levers. Everything is good. Put in the door. And if everything goes back together, turn the machine around. Get a winner. So that's pretty much the procedure for trying to unjam a Mills machine, and we'll have another video on Jennings and on a Mills gooseneck, and also on a Watling roll top. Hope you found it informative.